12 days from kickoff on the Plains, and I think we are fewer days from kickoff than the number of true freshmen who will play in the opener against Alabama A&M. He's
Wow.
Zach Blackerby. Yeah, he's Zach and I'm Brad, and it's a brand new Village Vice. Love starting out the week this way because it's not game week yet, Zach, but like you see there on the right side of the screen, fall camp is over. It is the first day as we talk. It's the first day for students on campus, and it's a new start for so many people on the Auburn campus. And I just think some of those new guys, those true freshmen, we're going to see a lot of them against Alabama A&M in 12 days.
Yeah. And I think before fall camp, we would have said a lot of these names. But over the course of fall camp, I mean, you just keep hearing great things about some of these incoming true freshmen. And some of these guys got here over the summer. And then, of course, a lot of them, most of them went through spring. But it kind of lines up with everything that we thought this freshman class could be. Hugh Freeze's staff's first full recruiting cycle. Number 8, I think, is the average number 8 class in all of college football. And it looks like a top 10 class in all of college football when you talk about all these freshmen that could play as early as their first game at Auburn.
So I would like to, if you're okay with it, go down the list. And some of these are very easy. Like Cam Coleman's at the top of the list.
Yes.
We know he's going to play. He'll be on the field the first play.
Sure.
All right. Amaris Williams.
Yes.
I think that's pretty easy.
Yes.
Perry Thompson.
Yes.
All right. Walker White.
No.
I don't either. DeMarcus Riddick.
Yes.
Look, that's already 4. We're barely down the list. We've already got 4 yeses. Jamonta Waller.
Yes.
Joe Phillips.
Yes.
Malcolm Simmons.
Yes.
Bryce Kane.
Yes.
All of the Freeze 4. Here's an intriguing one.
Okay.
DeAndre Carter.
Ooh.
Yeah. Let's talk about Dre for a minute.
Well, he was asked specifically about Dre Carter at his Friday presser, and it kind of sounded like he didn't know the answer. I mean, he was very non-committal about a red shirt, was non-committal about, how he was going to handle DeAndre Carter.
Yeah.
Which my gut then would be no. Like, I don't know if you see him in the first game. So I'll say no to him, but I'm not confident about it.
All right. I'm going to put him on the yes list. And it has everything to do with the fact that Auburn's playing Alabama A&M.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's a factor in this, right? Like if they open with Cal, I'm trying to think like who I would change on that. Like I probably wouldn't be as quick to say Joe Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have thought about DeMarcus Riddick for a second. I still think I would have said yes, but I would have thought about it for a bit longer.
Yeah. 6'4", 345 right now officially. And of course, these guys weigh out every day after practice, but very raw, has the ability to move guys. And I just do. I think the fact they're playing Alabama A&M, the lead will enable them to get, because I also think that when you go recruit and you say we played, let's say the number's 13 or 14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, we played 14 true freshmen in game 1. 14 members of this signing class didn't have to wait. They were on the field in game 1 this year.
Yeah, and the way that this game should go, as well as a few others this season, if they want to play a certain guy, they will play a certain guy.
Yeah.
And if they want to play DeAndre Carter in his first ever game at Auburn, Brad, they're going to, because they're going to be in that situation. If they're not, that's a whole different discussion that we would have after that game is played. But if they want to play him, absolutely. It was just interesting to hear Freeze's response when asked specifically about Dre last Friday, which gives me a little bit of pause. So just for the sake of us disagreeing on something, I'll say no.
Okay, very good. So I've got 9, you've got 8 at this point.
Sure.
Amon Gaines. You got so many young defensive backs.
Yes.
You'll go yes?
I think he plays.
I don't know if he plays or not, so I'm going to actually say no on Amon. So we're both at 9 at this point.
Yeah, when you look at DBs, you just have more opportunity to play for a couple of different reasons.
Yeah.
One is there's more guys on the field, and we'll see, if they're on their third string and they've kind of platooned everybody in, are they going to be as flexible when it comes to personnel?
Yeah.
Like, will they go to dime with their third team? And if they do, like, I think Amon Lane Gaines has a chance to do that.
Yeah.
They also have the opportunity to play on kickoffs.
Well, and I did. So right before you said that, the light bulb kind of went on. I wanted to clarify that I wasn't including.
On.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's on me. Busy day. I did not clarify. No special teams. So I'm only talking
special teams.
No, offense, defense.
But I don't think Towns McGoo plays when we get to him. If that's what we're doing.
That's cute.
If we're just changing the rules here. I'm not as confident in Amon Lane. I'll say that he still plays. I'll still say yes.
Towns McGoo isn't even on my list of signees from what I'm looking at. So we weren't even going to get to Towns. We were going to completely exclude Towns from the conversation.
Well, because apparently special teams is a part of the game to you, which is fine.
Yeah, it's not a part of the game to me. Who cares about special teams? Yeah, that's the message that will get clipped and assigned to me today. All right, what about the safety from Thompson, Caleb Harris?
Yes, he plays.
Yeah, he's big, too. He's bigger than I realized, I think, when I saw him in person.
Can I give you a hot take with him?
Yeah.
I think he plays the next week against Cal, too.
I like that take. I mean, 6'2", 200. The guy's physically, he seems to be pretty ready. Yeah. Malik Blockton is going to play.
Yeah, not even a question.
Not even a question. Jay Crawford I think he's going to play. Don't you?
Yeah, I think he's your fourth corner right now, fourth or fifth corner. And I think more than 4 or 5 corners play.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he plays against Cal as well. Like, I think he's a part of the relevant part of the defense for sure.
Kinsley Lador Faustin.
Ooh.
A little bit smaller.
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no to Faustin, especially since kickoffs don't count in this.
Yeah. There's another caveat. I'm full of caveats today.
Oh, what's another one? What's the other caveat?
Zake, my other caveat is that
Zake.
it's
What's your name?
Brandon
Zake.
Brandon Zake in the morning. Tulsa's #1 morning show. I completely derailed that.
That dude called me Zake.
I know.
And you Bran.
Yeah. Almost like it was intentional. But then the rest of it was such incoherent, like drivel. I don't know. I don't want to.
Yeah, there's no way you can purposely misspell every word. You know?
Right. You're right. Without doing it on purpose. Anyway, the other caveat was going to be that whatever this final number winds up being, if you include special teams, it's likely higher.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if you include more of the game, it's probably going to be higher. Sure.
Thanks, Zake. TJ Lindsey. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Week 1. Yeah.
Yeah. DJ Barber. Yes. I'm up to 14 already. I don't think Favor Edwin plays game 1.
I'm cool with that.
Okay. But you think he may? Are you a little more?
I think Dre Carter is more likely to play than Edwin is.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Yeah.
Laquan Robinson, the safety. He's not a freshman. He's a JUCO guy.
Yeah. New addition.
And so is Seth Wilford. But I'm kind of specifically looking at freshmen here. So,
but not freshman kickers, correct?
But not freshman kickers.
Got it.
Okay. Offense, defense. The 22-man rotation, offense, defense. So I've got 14, and I think you do too. I think we agree. 14 true freshmen on offense or defense in game 1 against Alabama A&M. That is tremendous. I mean, it tells you about the improved talent level. And as we said before, I think it's a great talking point when you go recruit. You're recruiting 25, 26 guys, and you're saying we're playing our freshmen. We're increasing the talent level. We're playing them. You come be the next one.
Yeah, and with the redshirt rule being what it is now, where you can play 4 games and keep your redshirt, it's a prime opportunity. I think it's a prime opportunity to play some of these guys, especially some of these raw guys like the offensive linemen, like the defensive linemen, like the defensive backs. You want to get them reps, and also you want to be in a situation where a lot of these position groups, they're kind of got a lot of seniors there. You're losing a lot on the offensive line. You're losing a lot on the D line. You're losing a lot in your defensive backfield. You want to know what you got behind them. And the only way you can truly do that is you put them in the game and see what happens. So There's nothing but upside. If Auburn gets a sizable lead, which we all think that they should and that they will against Alabama A&M, yeah, get all these guys in there. I'm all for it.
Love it. All right. Tell you what I'm all for is you looking stylish with your Barner Supply Company gear. I'm rocking the hat today. Zach has that. That's a very popular design. They have come out recently with a couple of powder blue designs and shirts. And I'm telling you, just got to go check it all out. BarnerSupply.com. We also know that you're using our promo code like crazy. It gets you 15% off at checkout. That code is just Village Vice. All together, no spaces, Village Vice. 15% off at checkout. You support the show. These are awesome people. They're Auburn men and women. There are a couple of couples that are either Auburn grads or one who's lived in Auburn his entire life. And, Barners making stuff for Barners. Embrace it. Barner is no longer a disparaging remark. It's actually a compliment. And we're just going to support it and sport it proudly. BarnerSupply.com, promo code Village Vice.
I love it. I also love some of the news that was coming out of the scrimmage, and you could have kind of followed along almost in real time over at thebarnauburn.com. There was more on the scrimmage there than anywhere else, especially in a timely manner. And so, yeah, be sure to check out Auburn's newest and latest and best message board, thebarnauburn.com. I mean, all of the names that were listed there, sounds like Sam Jackson had a solid touchdown. Camden Brown with a solid day. Robert Lewis moved the chains on multiple third down situations. And then it's like, oh, Cam Coleman wasn't listed, which I think is a good thing. It's like, let's see, like we all kind of know what Cam Coleman can be. Who's going to be the number 2 and the number 3 and the number 4 receiver in this offense as far as impact goes? And so I love that you heard more about some of these other guys.
Yeah, I agree. I actually posted on the message board there at thebarnauburn.com that what we've been talking about this improved receiving room, and we kind of all figure Cam is wide receiver 1. So now as a defense, you have to start game planning to take away Cam, but then what do? Can you consistently take away a Robert Lewis? Every single time I say Robert Lewis, I want to call him Ricardo Lewis. Apologies for that.
Sure.
Can you consistently take away KLS? Can you consistently take away Rivaldo Fairweather or Perry Thompson or Malcolm Simmons or these other guys? And if you do that, what do you have to give up to do that? Do you have to play back a step? Do you give up a little bit of room or leverage in the running game for Jarquez or Damari or Jeremiah to make one guy miss?
Yeah.
And have an explosive play. When you rotate your defensive back, so now you no longer have cornerback number 2 on Auburn's wide receiver 2. You've got your backup. Well, now Auburn's receiver maybe gets a little more leverage and can win that one-on-one matchup. I mean, all these guys having good days at scrimmage, at practice, all these guys helps the big picture exponentially. It's like the sum is greater than the individual parts. It just makes a difference.
Yeah, it does make a difference. And especially when you look at what Auburn has had in the past with, no clear number 1 guy.
Yeah.
And I still think Auburn, even if you took Cam Coleman out of it, I still think Auburn is in a better spot than they typically are. The issue is Auburn's always had a bunch of number 2 or number 3 guys.
Yeah.
And we all agree Cam Coleman is a number 1. We'll see where KLS is. I think he has the ability to be a number 1 guy.
Yeah.
Then obviously the upside of Perry and Malcolm is tremendous. And so regardless of who's on the field, I just think they all demand a different type of way to defend them. And that's just a lot to throw at these college DBs. It's just a lot.
Yep.
And there's going to be certain guys that you've got a game plan for. I think Robert Lewis will be one of them. Obviously, Cam Coleman will be one of them. And you just have to have certain coverages in certain places to defend these guys. And so then it's on Peyton Thorne to get the ball to him, which it sounds like the last 2 scrimmages for all the quarterbacks, but especially Peyton Thorne, it sounds like they've really been able to turn it on in a passing game.
Yeah. And I don't want you to hear, I don't want folks to come out saying that like all of these receivers are going to wind up with a certain number of catches or a certain number of targets. That's not really the point. But if all these guys are having good days, everybody's getting better.
It's true.
So, if you hear a name over and over again and that guy doesn't wind up playing, and you go, well, boy, you talked a lot about this guy in August and he hasn't played very much. No, but the fact that he had good day after good day pushed the guys you are seeing on the field, and they rose to the occasion and are getting more playing time. You see, it's better that all these other guys had these good days. So,
right. No question about it.
All
no
right.
question about it.
Zach, as you move out of fall camp and now into, I thought it was interesting. Coach Freeze said last week that they're going to do a little bit of Cal game planning this week, and then it'll all be focused on Alabama A&M the week after that. I think that makes sense given the layout of the schedule.
Sure.
You know, you get a little of that in. Probably do that any year. You know, you work a little on week 2 and then move into it. But has your opinion on the offensive line commentary from last Friday changed at all since Friday? I mean, did it change at all over the weekend? Could you maybe tell us about that after you tell us about Roback?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I mean, Roback.com, RHOBACK.com, it's a tad overwhelming. I mean, they just have so many cool things. They've dropped an Auburn collection, and they've got like a Jordan-Hare Stadium pattern, which is awesome. It's so good. I fully intend on ordering that at some point this week because it's so clean. And when I do, I'm going to use our promo code VICE20. They've got like a default code in there that's like site-wide 15% off. You've got to manually go take theirs out that's auto-applied and put ours in. So we're asking you to do that. You'll save an extra 5% when you do that, but use promo code VICE20 to do that. But yeah, check out their Auburn collection if you haven't already. It's really, really cool. So once again, Roback.com, use promo code VICE20.
I think, Zach, that when you go to Roback.com and then you click on Game Day Collection.
Yeah.
Because alphabetically, Auburn's the first one that pops up.
Oh, okay.
They have a Jordan-Hare polo, and they have the old school Aubie face, the old school Tiger, as a repeating print, like a step and repeat print too.
Yeah.
So we may be buying a couple of these with promo code VICE20.
Yeah, it's good looking. It's good looking. So yeah, be
the
sure
Beanie
to
Tiger is what it's called. Yeah, that's sharp.
Oh yeah, it's right at the top there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the Jordan-Hare Stadium one. Yeah, so be sure to check that out. Okay. Promo code VICE20. Yeah, so the whole like offensive tackle thing, it's very interesting. And I don't think I'm not going to say panic. There's concern, discussion, about like, okay, the state of the offensive tackles, because the season's 2 weeks away, and like now there's questions on who that left tackle is. Like, is it Tyler Johnson? Did they move Dylan Wade back to left tackle where he was a year ago and put somebody else in at guard? Sounds like they're really diving into those conversations. So much so when Percy Lewis was talking to the media last week, he was told media he's working as the backup right tackle with the twos, and Tyler Johnson was the starting left tackle. And so it's like, oh, that's pretty eye-opening.
Yeah.
That's pretty eye-opening. And you and I did a show on Friday reacting to everything that Freeze said.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, well, who did he compliment? Complimented Connor Lew. He complimented Ronan Chambers, complimented Tyler Johnson. And it's like, well, normally when he does that, like, he's being intentional with it. So was he naming one of those guys as a potential starter? I don't know, because then if you scoot Dylan Wade out to left tackle, maybe Ronan Chambers is that guard. And boy, do I already look silly for our show when we reacted to the Ronan Chambers stuff, because boy, I was hard on him. I was wrong. I take fault on that. But I've talked to a few different folks within the program this weekend just about the tackle discussion. And you kind of get a different answer based off of who you talk to. But I put this in the barnauburn.com. One person I talked to, I asked the question, and he's like, well, what'd you think of our tackles last year, Zach? And I'm like, I thought Wade was solid, and I think Miller was solid, especially considering how raw he was. And then quickly he said, well, Zach, they're still here. So that's the worst case scenario. And I'm like, that's fair. That's a fair point. And so like, I don't think there's like a major issue, because Auburn put itself in a situation where it has options, which is great. But it is a little strange to me how long it took them to get to this point where they decided they needed to try new things. That to me is kind of my biggest question right now.
And what you may have just said, I really may be only changing one word or two, but what happened to get to that point? or what didn't happen.
That's right, Brand. That's right.
I mean, yeah, thank you, Zach. Is it just like one-on-one matchups in practice in these ones versus ones situation, and there's somebody who's just not, is Percy not, Percy's huge, 6'7", 255. Wouldn't surprise me if he was bigger than that since getting to Auburn. He was just a mountain of a man. Yeah. So let's say, if he's 260, 265, can he stay in front of Keldrick Falk? Can he stay in front of Jalen McLeod? Can you stay in front of Kieran Crawford or Amaris Williams? If you can't, can you stay in front of half the team's defensive ends that you're going to play this year? Probably not.
No, and that's an argument I've heard a lot of. It's like, oh, well, it's because the Auburn's pass rushers are so good. I'm like, okay, let's assume that's true. Let's assume that's the case. And let's assume Auburn has a top 4 pass rushing defense in the conference, which I'm not buying, but maybe they do. I think it's top half, which is good enough. We've done several shows on how that'd be good enough.
Correct.
But you're going to be playing Alabama. You're going to be playing Georgia. You're going to be playing like all of these teams that have really good front sevens. Oklahoma feels really good about their front seven. A&M feels good about their front seven for some reason. And so like all of these folks that you're going to have to block, it's like, it's not like you're going to play Vanderbilt every week. And so like, I think it's a big part of it.
You're right. And it's better to get out in front of that and either challenge guys to step up or make the moves that you need to make, or at least the experiments you need to try 2 weeks before game 1. Because once you get a week from today, you need to really lock in on the reps, the rotations, the rep chart, not the depth chart, but all that needs to be pretty well set 1 week from today.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not too concerned about it, but once again, just asking the question of like, what happened to get to this point? I like how you phrased it there, Brand. I think you did a great job with that. So
thank you, Zach. And I really like your comment on the barnauburn.com, where worst case scenario, the guys you had in those spots are the guys that are back.
Yeah. Which, worst case. Not my comment, quoting somebody else, but great point for sure. So I think that should alleviate. And a lot of the responses to that at the barnauburn.com are like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And it's like, I don't think we felt the tackles were the issue last year, right? I never felt that. Like there were times where we got beat up front, but I wasn't like pointing at Miller and Wade saying like, oh my gosh, they're just not performing at a level high enough. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm not too concerned. It's just they need to figure it out and kind of get as many reps there as possible. So Brad, I think that about does it for today's show.
It does. Thanks everybody for liking the video, for subscribing to the channel, and commenting. I read them all, every one of them, as is very obvious. Remember, until next time, everyone has vices. Make sure Village Vice is one of yours.